Now let's spend a few moments and just talk about some of the fundamentals on how the human brain works, how people think, and why it's important for your sales process. The brain is made up of three main areas, and it's all about basically our evolution, and that why most of the time we're not talking to the right part of the brain. And we're going to go into more of this in another section here. But the brain sort of goes like this. Our oldest brain is our reptilian brain. And what's that for? That is for survival. That is for instincts. That's that fight or flight. That's that thing when we walk into a room, we go, I trust that guy, I don't trust that guy. When we walk outside and somebody scares us, it's our natural instinct to react. If we touch a hot pan, our hand reacts. And this is the thing that tries to keep us safe. And naturally, when people are selling to us, the reptilian brain's kicking in. Then the newer brain evolved. It's our limbic system that sort of surrounds that. And our limbic system is really for our emotions. It's for our putting things into social context. It's for associative memory. It's where storytelling is stored. And this is really the part of the brain that we want to be talking to. But what ends up happening is we talk often to the neocortex. We talk to this part of the brain that is all about logic and thinking. And when we talk to that brain, we just hammer it over the head with features and benefits and logic. And that's completely wrong, because that's the newest brain that's trying to process all this stuff. But we think that our brains are like this big computer. So if I just send you, if I have all of this complex information and I just send that to you, well, your brain's going to process it. But is that what happens? No. In the sales process, what happens is the reptilian brain is constantly filtering what goes to the neocortex and what doesn't. So all of the stuff we're going to be looking at is how to keep that reptilian brain at bay, how to tap into that limbic system where decisions are made based on emotions, and the neocortex is going to be part of the rationalization of the decisions we're getting people to make. So this is going to be a really sort of interesting way to reframe the way you do things. And if you're not connecting with somebody, it's because we're talking to the wrong part of the brain. And as we mentioned earlier, there's these three things that, if you ever heard of these: probing, objections, and closing. And those are the ones that were invented by E.K. Strong in the 20s. And they've been used still to this day in sales training. We go anywhere to say, okay, let's talk about how we're going to probe, how we're going to handle objections, how to close. But you know what? Nobody likes to be probed. Nobody wants to be handled. And nobody likes being closed. Nobody likes to be manipulated into something. And these are the old school ways of doing sales. And if you're still thinking on these lines, this is what I want you to strip away. Because if you're handling objections, you're too late. If you're handling objections, you're too late. Because if we think about that principle of consistency, if somebody puts their hand up and says no to something, they're much more likely to comply to that. Now, that doesn't mean we're not going to negotiate, and we're not going to handle challenges, and we're not going to find ways to get around things and help your customer make sense of challenges they see. What I'm talking about is those hard objections where they say no right away, and they put up this barrier because now you're already, behind the eight ball. When I listen to sales calls, we sometimes get objections way too early in the sales process because we've said too much. We've offered too much information, and now we're caught in this question and answer black hole. So rather than handling objections, we are going to look at reducing resistance. And I just love this picture of the girl pulling the donkey. Reducing resistance is everything we're going to do. And that's how we present our information, the order with which we do it, which keeps that reptilian brain at bay, taps into the limbic system, gets people thinking about the right stuff at the right time based on what you do and how you do it. And there's two types of resistance. And in psychology, there's the first one, which is the knee-jerk. It's called reactance. It's that thing where we put up our hand right away and say, I don't like that. That feels weird. That's a no. I don't like the price. I don't like the time. I don't like your face. That's the knee-jerk reactance. The second type is called anticipated future regret. And that's where if we make this decision, I'm going to regret it. Or if I don't make this decision, I'm going to regret it. So everything we're going to do in our presentation style is to keep that knee-jerk and reactance at bay while showing somebody what the future could look like if they make a decision or if they don't make a decision.